Welcome to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Here's your hosts, Matt Cook and Bobby Brown. Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. I'm Matt Cook. This is Bobby Brown. We are on to episode number 38. And my goodness, you would think with the PGA Tour season, technically, in my opinion, having come to an end until 2023, that we wouldn't have much to talk about. But my God, Bobby, do we find ways. And man, media has been good this year on us with LIV Golf. And, you know, we'll dive into, so tonight's episode, we're going to jump into the Australian PGA Championship. We're going to recap that for our Aussie guys down there in Australia. Then we're going to talk about the upcoming mixed field Australian Open, which even there's a little bit of controversy around that one. But by mixed field, I'm talking about men, women, amateurs, all different types. We're going to talk about the upcoming Hero World Challenge, latest news on Tiger, and then the latest LIV Golf news. So, Bobby, without further ado, my friend, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, we did. It was awesome. It was just nice and little quaint. Just Lori and myself and the boys. She overcooked the lollipop lamb chops.
Oh my God, your post had me rolling. Your
you
social
saw
media
that?
post on Instagram. How much trouble did you get in for that one?
No, she doesn't even know. She doesn't even have Instagram. She's like an old bag at 36 years old. I think she's still on that Facebook shit. Now her new rage is TikTok now.
There it is.
Like 2 hours a night, she'll send me some random TikTok, and she's like, "Oh, I'm on the couch, you know, I'm like 8 yards away from you, but you're texting me the TikTok," and she's like, "Oh, I can't stop laughing at this," and I watch this TikTok, and I'm like, "What is so fucking funny about that? I don't see anything funny about it," but it was great. I have a lot of love going through me right now, being home for the holidays, hanging out with Lori and the boys. Yeah, it's like my 5 or 6 week run where I'm like fucking all in, and I'm an important part of the machine here right now. And I even told Lori, I go, God, I got so much love going through me this holiday season. So I'm enjoying every day with them. Beautiful. I took them out of school early today, you know, because we're a big soccer family for the USA.
Oh, nice.
For the USA match. I got them to watch the first half anyways. That was big. My 5-year-old's got his best friend lives across the street, Henry. His name's Henry. So he's out there talking in the window, fucking as soon as he gets home from school, and they just run around. I don't know. Sometimes I sit on the porch, man. I get goosebumps talking about this, but I sit on the porch and I'm like, God, I remember when I was that age. You know, when you're 5 and 10, you're just hauling ass on your bike or you're on a scooter and you're fearless, and I'm sitting on, and I'm like, watch out for the mailbox, you know, don't fucking cross the street without looking 18 times. So a lot of love going on in this house right now. How was your Thanksgiving?
Ours was great. You know, yeah. I had some whiskey, sat around with the family. We had, my parents live over in Sun City West, so went over there. My mom she's a comfort food cook to where like anything comfort food wise might not be healthy, but my God, is it delicious. And I had 2 plates and then went into a complete food coma. People thought I died right on the couch and did not wake up for about 4 hours. So it was kind of a flash, but man, was it a good Thanksgiving? Really enjoyed it. And then, you heard, because I told you and was blasting you on text messages. I'm like, Bobby, I could have had something real good going. The Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Should I intro this? Matt fired the round of the year. I think Matt dropped a little 69 on him. I'm a big birdie guy, right? I know if a guy can play if he makes a bunch of birdies. And obviously, Matt was fucking playing golf. Did you go for 7?
I went for 7.
And the most important thing is, I think you said you missed a half a dozen putts within, I'm saying this wrong, but I want to say 15 feet, or you 3-wiggled from 15 feet.
Five missed putts from within 6 feet.
From within 6 feet. Oh, what could have been? But can I just say,
it could have been a special
day. Who cares? When you look at 69, I've done it twice in my life, 69, and I felt like granted, it was from fucking 6,400 yards, but I play the tees that I'm supposed to tee. I don't care what tees you play if you shoot fucking 69.
Oh, it was the tips. Yeah. At a 73.37 was the yardage.
69's the love number. You just gotta love looking at that on a
I
score.
actually said that to my buddy after the round. I'm like, man, I would have been really pissed if I shot in the 70s, if it was like 70 or
Oh,
71.
there's a huge psychological difference between 69 and 70, bro.
That big,
70,
big
you
difference.
go home and you're like, motherfucker, should have been 69
Yeah.
for sure.
That
69,
front nine, though, that front nine was
that was
special.
impressive.
I mean, five
Five
birdies
birdies.
on the front, only 2 birdies on the back. But man, that front nine, I was rolling the pill, as you like to say.
Well, let me just tell you
And I
something.
was hitting it close.
It's officially the off season on Pull Hook Golf and the PGA Tour because we're talking about Matt Cook dropping 69. One for the good guys that never stop.
This is my biggest highlight on this podcast so far.
Hey, exactly where is that scorecard hanging right now and what gold?
It's not. I just took a picture, started sending it to people.
I got it.
I didn't even post it on social media. I'm like, I'm gonna keep this quiet. I'm just gonna keep this until the podcast, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. But man, all right, let's move into the Australian PGA Championship. Enough about me. Let's get into Cam Smith. Wins that one by 3. I mean, shocker, right?
Well, shocker. I mean, he probably had a lot. It's impressive. He probably had a lot of pressure going back.
A ton of pressure.
Going back in 3 years, home country, obviously, this Aussie PGA and the Australian Open coming up. I've never done them, but I know how much Aussies love their golf down there. They're so fucking passionate about their golf courses are just sickening. And I've done plenty of Canadian Open. I've done obviously numerous US Opens, right? But I've done plenty of Canadian Opens too. And I'm thinking, when you go to Canada and you play in a Canadian Open, it's a smaller group of people than a US Open, obviously with the craziness, but it's the same vibe for that country, right? It's fucking, you get that. And I've said that every time I've gone to the US, to the Canadian Open, excuse me. So these Aussie Opens, these Aussie majors are big deals. I mean, they're loaded with 90% Aussies for an obvious reason, but hats off to Cam Smith, man. Fucking 14 under, got it done, 1 by 3. I mean, you can go down the field and go, okay, there's fucking 55 guys I've never heard of. Yeah, but there's guys behind him that you have heard of. Adam Scott, Jeff Ogilvy must be getting ready to turn 50 because he had I think he had a great Sunday. He shot 3 or 4 under on a super hard golf course, and he finished 18th. Mark Leishman was in the field. Fucking Cam Davis is a stud. He was in the field.
He was.
Man, did we not? You know how you always rag on me for picking bets and Bob, your bets suck and everything like that.
Bet on it.
Did I not tee us up way back when? Maybe when Mikey was on the show about what I thought about Cam Davis, the way he shapes.
I think so. You've talked about him before.
About it, pal. I did. There's no thinking about it. So he was in the field. This guy, this Australian Korean Minwoo Lee, who is Minji Lee's brother.
He's got a good game.
He's a fucking stud, man. I played some practice rounds with him with the Korean posse when he was in town playing with WGCs, and he fucking ships it 330, like with not going at. And he's got those hands. He's Minji Lee's brother. He won the Scottish Open, I think, the year before last, and came on the map. But he just keeps knocking on the door. He finished 4th. I think a dude named Jason Scrivener finished tied for 2nd. He's a name that when you scroll down the thing. But dude, it was awesome. It had to be awesome for everybody involved that was going to be at the golf tournament. Mark Leishman finished tied for 12th. He hadn't been doing much since all the LIV contract probably got signed. He probably lost a little fire and was out having a couple of coldies mowing his lawn. So that was the day.
True.
He went Yahtzee on Sunday for 4 under and shot 6 under and finished T12. So, it was a good tournament. I watched like some, because the time difference was different. So here on the East Coast, like if I was just chilling and everybody was asleep, I turned it on. I think it came on at 9 o'clock over the weekend, and I caught bits and pieces. But you were saying something to me about there was a big social media.
Yeah, a lot of people were pissed off because they're watching while the event was live. And you could look it up, and Google would show, obviously, if you looked it up on there, the live scoring as to what was taking place. But at that time, the Golf Channel was playing like reruns of like old golf events or something along those lines. Like it was something that you wouldn't normally be interested in, instead of showing the Australian PGA Championship live. And so it was during, like, I was trying to watch it out here in Arizona, and I was shocked that I couldn't get it on the Golf Channel. And I was looking at that, and then I started to see a lot of tweets about it. People were not happy with the Golf Channel over this one because it was after play had concluded, then they showed the event. So it's like, why did that happen? But there
Wow.
was a lot of angry people that were
Well,
upset about it.
so every time I tuned in, I couldn't even tell you what time it was. I felt like I was watching it live,
You
but
were
I guess
watching a replay.
I was. It's funny because early in the night, after dinner, the boys go upstairs and shower and bath. I'm chilling on the couch, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they started the Aussie PGA yet. So I'd scroll, and this is probably 5 or 6 at night, right? So I'd scroll, and like the early groups would be off over the weekend or something like that. But they fooled me. I didn't even know major time difference. I thought I was watching it live.
They probably
Congratulations.
did it for ratings, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of is, oh, we'll get better ratings if we put it on at this hour versus this hour.
yeah,
And it's not like it's the Open Championship or something along those lines
yeah,
to where
yeah.
they know they have to air it live and people will stay
Right,
up all night
right.
and watch the event. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
that was a little bit of controversy around
that
it, but
sucks.
also, how about Adam Scott? Now, there's some news
Yeah,
about Adam Scott bringing Stevie Williams back, and
yep,
in addition to that, it sounds like he's going to make one
it
last
does.
run
Yeah.
to see what he can do on the PGA Tour this year, and then also in the major championships. It sounds like he's preparing to go to live, not next year, but the year after. He's
I
had
mean,
really kind comments about the entire thing.
well, he's really kind in general. If you've been, he's not
I have
controversial.
at Butch Harmon's, but he is really nice.
He's not controversial. He doesn't do the controversy thing like other guys. He doesn't really make his opinions known. He's a very quiet, private guy. So, and you understand why he's such a fucking pimp and he's so
He
rich and
is a pimp.
and everything
You
like
gotta
that.
stay
Rides
quiet.
around in his back in the good old days when I was flying private everywhere with Dustin, he would have his plane and his plane would be there, and it's got his initials on it, AS, and then next to that one would be the SG, would be Sergio's, and then there would be Phil's Jumbo Mumbo, and then there would be Tigers, right? And Tigers is always indoors. It's like 50 confidentiality agreements for all the employees rolling around to sign. So, but
Tiger's like flying around in Air Force One.
yeah, exactly. But he's quiet. But he's quiet. Scotty's quiet and that kind of stuff. I don't see him going. I mean, I don't. We can't get ahead of ourselves with the live comments that were made today and the little banter between maybe Phil and Tiger and Tiger's comments and that kind of stuff. But who knows what's going to shake out with the live in 2 years? And this is a good intro to what we're going to talk about later. So I'll just cut it right now.
But I'm excited about Adam Scott. Like
Well,
refocused.
dude.
Said he's going to spend a lot of time in the States this year,
Yeah.
just preparing for the tournaments and playing in a ton of PGA Tour events. Listen,
Yeah.
the guy's rolling the rock, and he's got a putting stroke now that is just very mechanical to where you're not really going to get out of your mechanics, right? I mean, it is you're holding a broomstick and you're just literally taking it back a certain ways and then bringing it through a certain ways. I mean, it doesn't really get
Well,
off path.
can I give you my theory why he's well, if you've ever seen Adam Scott at a tournament, anyways, he's a workaholic, right? He's always working and always trying to get better. So he's got the fire. But you want to know what my little theory on going
Yeah,
balls,
I want to hear it.
going balls up? Well, think about it, dude. There's like fucking a handful of dudes on the live tour that were probably the guys to beat in these majors. And now
Mm,
Scotty's like, oh, they said DJ's gone, Cam's gone, all these guys that were fucking upper echelon. Brooks is gone.
that's
I
a good
mean,
point.
Bryson won a major. You get those handful of guys that if they happen to get going on any given Sunday in a major and they're overpowering a golf course. Fuck, that's what I think. And Stevie's back. That's gotta, and I'm stoked about that too, because it's always, he's got this aura about him. If a caddy could have an aura, like when he walks onto the range with Tiger, when he used to walk on the range with Tiger, there was like an aura, and he kept that aura, right? And LaCava, and I love LaCava to death, and he's awesome. But when LaCava and Tiger walked onto the range now, they're probably a little bit more loosey goosey, a little bit more social than the old Tiger and Stevie was. But it sounds like Stevie's going to do more than the majors too, from what I've been reading. Like
Yeah,
he's had his few years off. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, so it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see them. He finished 28th last week. He had a good solid week. He finished 4 under. I mean, that's close.
it's
That's pretty.
respectable. Respectable to T28.
Yeah, sure it is. Fuck, sure it
You know,
is.
those two just get to reconnect, rekindle that love and
Yeah,
passion for each other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all about the big ones.
It is. Now,
God, he's been through about 15 caddies since Stevie left last time. So he's
what's your take on this mixed tournament
well,
that is going on?
It's the Australian Open, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's the fucking Australian Open. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that there is a big push for, do I want to say LPGA for
But
women
they
golf?
didn't do it this year. The LPGA did not partner with them, which is why the women's field is way down.
Well, but okay, I agree with that. But my point is I think it's everybody around the world that's involved with golf organizations is trying to get more exposure for women, and that's well
Yeah,
deserved. Right? I mean, they're
agreed.
freaks. Yeah, they're freaks. So I think this is just a little pebble in the walkway, a little stone that's going to start getting things going. And I don't think it's going to be, I mean, I know it's a major, it's their open, I did scan down what I would call the LPGA side, and once again, it's 90% Australians, but there's a few names that say, I mean, Minji Lee's playing, she's Australian. It's funny, these Australians, like her and her brother Minwoo Lee, yes, they're Australians, they have the Australian accents, but I don't know the details, but I almost want to think that because Danny Lee did it, I think with New Zealand possibly is his heritage, but you're like, oh, I wonder if these parents realize at a young age that these Koreans were going to be free golfers, right? And they're like, well, we don't want to have them deal with the military or this reason or that reason, and they move to another country and they keep up their training and their nourishing for them to be the best. That's another Bobby
Yeah.
Brown off the wall theory that I think about sometimes. But Minji Lee's playing Hannah Green. I think she won. Hannah Green's playing. I think she won one of the events. I don't think it was the Annika thing, but excuse me, there was one of these mixed male and female events that Hannah Green won. There's another American stud playing Jennifer Kupcho. I don't know if you know that name. She won the A&A Inspiration, their big major down in Rancho Mirage, which is La Quinta.
Oh, yeah. I
And
know
I
who you're
think
talking about.
she rattled off a couple more, but seeing as this is kind of a caddy show, her caddy is David Eller, who started in the business, voila, because he was a teammate of my son Daniel's at Charleston Southern University, was just an average golfer there, and decided he wanted to be a caddy. And I made a couple phone calls, and he got rolling on the Corn Ferry Tour, and then this came up, and he actually filled in for Sung You'll Know a couple times, a Canadian Open. And so I'm babbling about, I want to give this caddy shout out because he was just grinding for 2 or 3 years, living at his mom's house and no cares in the world. And now all of a sudden he's working for Jennifer Kupcho and 3 wins. And well, let me put it into the most important thing, $200,000 to $300,000 for a single dude that's 23. I
That's
mean,
pretty solid. I mean, I
please
would
be
have
smart
taken
with your money,
that.
David. Please be
Dang.
smart with your money. Take it back.
Invest that.
Yeah. So it's
Not
amazing.
in FTX.
Obviously they're going to play different tees, same pin positions, but it's a major. I mean, on the men's side, you got pretty much what you got last week too. You got Leash, you got Cam, you got Scotty, Minwoo Lee, Lucas Herbert's playing this week. He's a stud. Ryan Fox is playing, who's been pretty much dominated the DP World Tour last year. Matt Jones is back playing. I believe he's defending champ, so it's good to be Australian. And honestly, on a side note, I got to tell you, there's a rookie out here on the PGA Tour from Australia. His name's Harrison Endicott. I don't know if he played his way on from the Corn Ferry Tour last year. I believe he got off to a great start in Napa. And remember, I was telling you in Napa, some dude went off as a single and went out and shot like 63 or 64 and ran by fucking everybody like on Saturday. I think it was Harrison Endicott, and he ended up top 9, top 8 or top 9. So he's Aussie, and he played last week and made the cut in the PGA Championship. So you were the one telling me there's a 36-hole cut and a fucking 54-hole cut.
So
That's
because there's so many people, right?
Mhm.
There's a 36-hole cut, and then there is that 54-hole cut. Mainly it's cutting down all the amateurs, but because there's so many people in the field, and when I say people, men and women, and so that's why there's the 2 separate cuts that are going to take place on Friday and Saturday. I mean, it's a unique event in a lot of ways. Like, could you ever see the PGA Tour ending up having a mixed event with the LPGA Tour?
Yes.
I think that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Having Nelly Korda going up against Troy Merritt.
How many aside do we get? Let me get Troy on the phone right now. He's going to say 2. I'll take 1.5. Bitch, got to play our tees though.
Well, that's the thing. Like they're playing from the ladies' tees, right?
Well, yeah, they're playing from they're playing from the
I mean,
ladies.
that's how you got to do the mixed events,
Yeah, but
Bobby.
we do have that QBE shootout coming that Nelly and Lexi playing, and I think
Yeah,
they play from the
but
mid tee. I know that's
that's like
different.
a
That's a whole
charity
other
event
tangent.
deal.
I
You
know.
know, you got the
Well,
PNC Nelly Cordes playing in that with her dad.
yeah, that's real silly season stuff. I don't
Yeah,
call the hero what we're going to talk about soon.
no,
That ain't no silly
but
season
we can
shit there.
gamble on it.
That's the creme de la creme. But honestly, to answer your original question, I do see it happening. I don't know when it's going to happen, but let's give these ladies the respect that they
Exactly.
deserve. Let's see them mix it up with the men.
I want to. I want to
Yeah,
see them playing from forward tees and competing against them. And I don't want to see the whole Annika or Michelle Wee where they're going back playing the tips with the guys. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, can they shoe around under par? Sure, but they're stretching themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just not a fair fight.
They can't win. They can't win their life and death. I think Annika made the cut. I think Michelle missed the cut by a
Hmm.
shot maybe and had a chance to win. But I'd like to see where they stack up from their tees
I
playing
do
against
too. I
the
think that'd
world.
be fun, and it would give the attention. It would put some
They
attention on the
deserve it.
LPGA tour.
Yeah,
There's
they
Bobby. They
fucking
have the
deserve
best
it.
golf swings in golf. Like
Oh my
their
God.
golf swings are
Yeah.
way better than the guys.
I told you the one time I caddied for that Korean superstar Hana Jang in Dallas like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And I'm like, oh, we got paired with Lexi, and I'm like, this Lexi Thompson hits it like a fucking dude, right? How she's not won multiple majors, I have no idea. But I felt so much like a fucking fish out of the water because they don't spin it or anything like that. You're 15 or 20 years of carrying a bag for a guy who carries a pitching wedge 145 and a 6-iron 198. You just like blah, 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 blah. They're like, what do you like? It's like, oh, I don't know, hamburger at the turn, something like that. I'll never forget this one hole in this damn Dallas tournament, and I thought I had her numbers memorized, right? And we get to this par 3 and it's like 178 a little in or something like that, and I know she just hit a 5-iron the day before that in the pro-am, landed 70, same wind, chased out to 78 or something like that, but these greens were a little firmer. So she's like, oh, do you like 5-iron? It's kind of gusting a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the perfect club and that kind of stuff. I'm like, actually take it back a little bit, 2 steps, right? Because I thought it might have been too much club. And she took it back, shorter front edge, like not that far. I was so fucking embarrassed. And we were paired with Lexi, and Lexi's looking at me talking to her caddy and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, if this Lexi Thompson bitch is talking shit about me and I over here, and I'm like, punch her in the fucking face. But I'm afraid after her workouts, she'd probably fucking take me down.
That's
So
not going to help your
you want to
pitch
know
to
what my
her
fantasy,
about going
you
Pebble.
want to know what my LPGA fantasy is? The Women's US Open is at Pebble Beach this year. So I am fantasizing, daydreaming. I think her brother's on the bag, but I'm
I
like,
know you
I
said that.
wish I could fucking caddy for Lexi Thompson.
I wish you could
Pebble
too.
Beach
I
US
say
Open.
we do a
I'm
full social
almost
media press.
Listen, I got her dad blew me up like a year or two ago to they got this one Curtis Thompson, who got to the tour. I think it was last year. He's a fucking super bomber, but I think he's a handful on the golf course. Sometimes mentally, he can get a little bit frustrated. But I got to know the dad a little bit. So I'm like, God, should I text the dad? But I think the older brother, Nick Thompson, who was on tour forever, is caddying for her from what I've seen on TV. And I know the agent. So I'm like, the other night I was daydreaming. And I'm like, God, I think about this every fucking night. Me and Lexi Thompson win the US Open. All the tragedies she's had the US Open. I can help her get to the promised land. It's fucking Pebble Beach. Please don't ask me if it's inside right or fucking right edge. You determine that. I can just tell you which way it's going, bitch. So I've got this wild dream of doing that. And I got to the next level the other night where I'm like, oh, the Koreans are always tough in US Open. So I sent out 3 fucking text messages to my 3 Korean agents. And I'm like, it works out
That's
perfect.
fantastic.
I start fabricating all my stats there. Hope they don't check. July 9th, man. I hope I'm standing on the first tee at fucking Pebble.
I hope you are too, because I will be there if that happens. That would be fantastic. I mean,
wouldn't it be awesome if Lexi's listening to this right now?
it would be unbelievable. I feel like we got to go on a full court press. We're going to have our social media guy, Brad, just absolutely dial this in. He's going to do a full sprint. Yeah, you have it. You'll meet him when you come out. But he'll do a full court press on the entire relationship. He'll just start tagging her in everything and be like, Bobby Brown plus Lexi, Pebble Beach, U.S. Open, let's go. And I think that might work because, listen,
I want any bag.
Lexi.
I want any bag for that week. I can move up whatever bag I got. I know I can. I fucking love that
I just
place.
wish you had the same sentiment about the Waste Management Open when I Monday qualify.
It's a $20 million person, not going to be no qualifiers. It's almost fucking 99, 100% official.
No,
right?
there's a qualifier every year. It's why it's called the Waste Management Open. It's an open tournament.
I think it could be one spot, if anything.
I don't care. Bobby, drop in 5 birdies. I just need to do something on the fucking back nine.
I'll see if I'm available.
You're not gonna be.
I got to stretch my legs out Monday anyways. I'll see if I'm available. Hey, back to real quick, close up on the Aussie Open and this LPGA thing and that kind of stuff. I think I made my point that these chicks deserve the fucking attention and the respect. But they're on 2 courses, so they play one course one day, and then they play this Victoria Country Club.
Victoria Country Club. I've heard beautiful things.
And then they finish on Victoria Country Club. Do you know that's where I did that World Cup with Siwoo and Ben on at Victoria Country Club? And I was telling you about the bunkering there. Like the greens run right into the bunkering, like sharp edges. Like you hit a shot and you're posing on a left pin or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be close. And it keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and it disappears. And I'd like look at Siwoo and go, is that in bunker? Just like that. Is that in bunker?
That almost came through my nose.
Bushwood Spirits, bro. It's the good shit.
Actually, this is off topic, but it's on topic. Did you see the Caddy Confidential by, I believe it's Golf Digest does that, where
the LPGA dude?
Yeah, and they were talking about how the caddy, it was the caddies were sleeping with the players.
Well, that goes on. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen out here, obviously.
I was about to say, Bobby.
My dad, but hey, love is love, bro. Love is love. We got that. I'm going to tell you a little family story, but my brother Jeff, I have a brother Jeff who's a couple years younger than me. He's gay. He's the greatest guy in the world. He's fucking loaded. He is all business. He is a professional through and through. He is slightly moody, and he is not your touchy-feely, homosexual is what I'm going to say. But it's so funny. There is a neighbor down the road, and we live in this community where the HOA is the deep south, right? So one of our neighbors puts up this love is love flag with the rainbow, right? And then now this memo goes across, right, to the whole neighborhood. Oh, that's disrespectful. You got to pull that down, that kind of stuff. You don't say that in my household. And my Lori lost her fucking shit, and she goes, I'm gonna show that fucking bitch. And she went right out and bought the same flag, and it's sitting right in our fucking front yard right now. And nobody said a goddamn thing about it either. So anyways, getting back to that caddy, I thought he was on coke with that article or something. I think he
was on fire with it
somehow. Run on senses. I'm like, God, I wonder who this fucking dude is. Obviously he's older.
He's definitely hooked up though with one of his players.
But listen to me saying, oh, he's almost said too much shit, but I almost feel like he's saying too much shit, because this caddy that I'm telling you about, my buddy that works for Jennifer Cupcho, David Eller, I can't think of her name, but he originally went out and worked for this girl, and they fell in love, and he was caddying for her, and it got to be too much. So he's got the Cupcho bag, and now their relationship is great. So it happens all the time. Think about it. I think that's where I'm going to say something that's touchy subject in 2022 in the LBG, how do you say it?
TQ plus.
Yeah. With that, I think some of these young ladies, obviously there's a bunch of lesbians that play on the LPGA tour. That's no joke. Okay, so I think some of these young ladies that aren't necessarily lesbians yet get very lonely on the road, and I'm going to leave it at that. Male or female. Fair play. Yeah. That's just an honest statement from what I know for a fact out there. So, yes, I read that whole deal. And
I knew you did. That's why I had to bring it up. It wasn't in our notes, but
bro, if it says caddy on it, I'm fucking reading it.
All right, let's talk about the exhibition, aka the upcoming Hero World Challenge. And Bobby, what's your analysis on Albany? Have you been down there?
No, dream trip. I've never been down. I was out the back door in Dustin, of course, when that started. It used to be at
Isleworth.
It was at Isleworth, but more recently it was at Sherwood Country Club, and that's how he got close. That's how he got close with the Gretzkys. because I had a player on the PGA Tour reach out to the Gretzky's because I knew Wayne was a member there, and I'd never been there. I wanted to come in a couple days early. So this PGA Tour pro called Wayne. He's like, hey, this caddy's cool. He wants to come out. And fucking Wayne called me. And he's like, hey, meet me on Saturday at 12 o'clock, and played with him for 2 days straight and some other dudes, and learned the golf course. And then next year I was gone, just like that. Fucking good night. See you later, Bob.
See you, Bob.
Here's another non-disclosure agreement and 100 fucking grand. Don't say a word. Oh, I'll never say nothing. Don't worry about me. So no, I've never been to Albany, but I will tell you it's like a tour event for me. So I'll be watching it on Thursday. You know, I'm pro World Cup now. I wake up at 5 a.m. and watch all these games through fucking the 2 o'clock game.
That's
So
super aggressive, Bobby.
well, we're a big soccer family right
Yeah,
now.
but the US is playing at like normal hours.
Yeah, at 2 o'clock, but I can't get enough. Dude, I don't sleep. I don't fucking party. I'm up at 5 o'clock, done at midnight.
Yeah, you're an old man now.
That's official 58 big ones. But I'm looking forward to watching this because I mean, come on. How many guys in this field? Fucking 24 of them. Let me start with the ones that I'm going to disrespect first. And I guess it's just Kiz, right? Kevin Kisner. Why is Kevin Kisner in the field?
Just a good personality. You want to hang out with him.
Come on, he's from the South, dude. What kind of he's just chewing tobacco and talks like this? And
He did talk a big game at the Ryder Cup, and yet he was like the first one to leave the party.
I love Kiz. He's fucking good. He's a good dude, but he's the one name that I'm just like, oh, Kiz is in this field. Is Troy like first alternate or something like that? And I didn't know about it. No disrespect, because you got fucking Rambo, right?
You do got Rambo.
You got fucking Xander. You got fucking. He just got married last week. Colin Morikawa. Remember he couldn't lose standing on the tee last year on Sunday. I think he had a 5-shot lead and shot fucking 4 over. He was 5 or 6 over right off the bat on fucking tilt. And if for all you average golfers out there that get on tilt, don't think it don't happen to the best players in the world, because he got on tilt fast, and that's a horrible thing to deal with as a player, and even as a caddy too, when a big lead is gone, because man, you cannot fucking trick yourself after 6 holes when you're 6 over and you're 1 back going, man, I just got to pretend that I started the day 5 back and I'm only 1 back right now, right? I tried using that line on Dustin at the US Open at Pebble Beach in 2010. He told me to shut the fuck up. So
I think it's the hardest thing to do is to win with a big lead.
It is even for us average golfers too, isn't it? When you go out there and you're like, okay, for me, when I was playing, I was like a hustling 6. Like everybody knew I knew how to play golf, right? I could get around and play golf. And and my big thing was, I'm just going to fucking crack 80 every day, right? She's 76, 77, 78. Sometimes I'll shoot 72, 73, 74. Once or twice I'll shoot 69. But if I started 2 or 3 over, and I'm a caddy and I'm good at my job. And I had a hard time not fucking getting over it, like just slow down and make a par, man. Just make a par. Just make a par. Want to get back to this sick ass field?
I mean, who do you like? Who do you like this week?
You know what? I'm gonna pull something out of my hat right here.
Yes, here we
Sam
go.
Burns. I like Sam Burns this week.
Wow.
No rhyme, no reason. But the only rhyme, no reason I have for this is I watched the whole thing last year, and he made a fucking huge run on Sunday, and it looked like he was going to win the fucking golf tournament, and he made a mistake late. I can't remember what he did. Oh, you remember there's on the backside, there's this drivable par 4 on Sunday. Everybody kind of bails right. And remember, this is where Tiger had those fucking chipping yips, and I guess apparently
a couple years back, yeah,
and it's real tight. And Sam Burns dumped one and came back at his feet. I think he dumped in a couple more, and then he chipped it in for bogey or something like that. But man, I like Sam Burns, and if I was going to bet an exacta for like a price, you know what an exacta is, first or second?
Oh, absolutely.
My $5 exacta box would be Sam Burns and Xander, because I know Xander plays good there. He also had a chance to win last year. Victor Hovland is your defending champ. Victor Hovland's a star and everything like that, but he really been like Morikawa. He's kind of been off his game for like a year, hasn't he? And I guess that means he's finishing 18th to 23rd every week and not first through 5th, with respect. But I do like Sam Burns. I like me some Xander Schauffele. I think the Koreans I think Sungjae and Tom Kim are gonna play good. I know they've been over in Korea, and Siwoo's been over in Korea, but I also know that these fuckers, I follow them on social media, and I'll shoot out a random text when they put up some stupid ass filter. Have you ever seen the Korean filter?
No.
It's unbelievable with these iPhones, the filter. I used to make fun of Siwoo all the time. I'm like, dude, that is not you. He goes, oh, it's Korean filter built in on phone, bro. And I'm like, no, I don't. I think you're going home and tweaking that shit like Paulina Gretzky
Oh,
and
he's got an app for sure.
fucking spinning reels and everything and bringing in your fucking cheek line.
I've
See,
seen enough girls to where I'm like, yeah, that's not your real face.
yeah. So I think Tom Kim and Sanjay, they've been playing together over there. They've been
You
practicing over
finally
there.
said a name that I really am just relating to right now, and
What is
that's
it?
good old Tommy Kim.
Yeah,
Little
exactly.
Dicky, Tommy Kim, get yourself a shower down there. They're all private. You get your door, it's going to shut. It's wooden. It's just a very nice field down there in the Bahamas at Albany. So I think Tommy Kim, this is a great golf course for him. And I really do think that Tommy Kim has a real good shot this week. I do like your Sam Burns pick. I mean, you
Yeah,
start throwing in Sung Jae, I'm like, okay, how many guys can we really bet on? We got to pick two
I
here.
know.
I'm saying for me, it's Tommy Kim. Who's your one guy? Is that Sam Burns?
Sam Burns.
All
Yeah,
right, Sam Burns. There we go.
yeah,
So we got
yeah.
Sam Burns and Tommy Kim this week. We'll throw in a couple little ancillary bets with Sung Jae
Oh,
and Xander.
wait. What was that word you just used? Ancillary? I've never heard of that in my 58 years. What does that mean?
Some smaller bets.
Oh, okay. Ancillary.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
Yeah,
like your side bets. It's like
yeah.
it's not your main. It's your ancillary. It's your.
I'm gonna use that on Troy this year when he's like, "Oh, it's you like 9 iron?" I'm gonna go. It's an ancillary one.
I
Little,
don't think
right?
that relates, but you could be like, listen, Troy, you can go with the 9, or my ancillary option here is a soft date.
I feel like I'm ordering breakfast in Greece. Okay, what else you got?
Dude,
Yeah.
we've got, I mean, now we get into the good stuff. I feel like
Well,
people have to
now,
be patient through this part,
yeah,
like all of our shit talking and everything and recapping and getting into the upcoming tournaments and everything. But I mean, we had some big news that took place. I mean, Tiger
yeah,
WDs with plantar fasciitis. I
yeah,
was talking with my trainer this morning about this, and we were on the same page. I mean, as soon as I started to tell him, I'm like, have you seen his right leg? Like, it's just like a stick basically going down into his foot.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, well, plantar fasciitis. And he started to explain to me this whole entire thing about plantar fasciitis. And he's like, there's no real rhyme or reason around plantar fasciitis. It comes, and then from there, if you have it, it's not the easiest thing to necessarily get rid of. So he's got not only this Hero World Challenge that he was prepping for, but he said he can hit golf shots. He
Yeah.
just can't walk.
Yeah. Wait, I thought isn't plantar fasciitis in your feet?
It's in the foot. But
Okay.
I have a feeling, Bobby, that from the trauma of the leg,
Yeah, for
that the
sure.
leg he hasn't been able to build up. And like when you remove that amount of like of your actual muscle and leg, because
Mhm.
really the calf's gone, right? So the entire calf muscle is gone, and it's a rod that's basically going down into his foot. So it's like you start running into issues with your foot. That's
Mhm.
not a good sign, my friend. And for
Mhm.
him not to be able to walk, he can hit golf shots. He can hit
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, apparently, according to Tiger, if you call a shot, he'll be able to hit it. But
Well, I read that.
he can't walk.
Well, good news for him in the other two events coming up. He's in a card, so he doesn't have
That's
to worry about
so
that.
I
Yeah.
knew that he was in a cart for the match because they
Mhm.
get all the decked out carts with their logos and everything on
And for
it.
the
But
PNC
PNC, okay, I
and the
thought
P
so.
yeah, and the PNC too, I think they have the option. It's funny you talk about this plantar fasciitis because I know a couple guys that get a couple caddies that get it out here, but for some reason they seem to think it's from beer and steak. Am I getting that mixed up with gout? Maybe can gout be
Probably,
that
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
steak and alcohol is more like
Evan,
inflammation. Well, yeah, I mean, it
Evan.
really is. I eat it just about and drink it just about. No,
Yeah.
the only time I drink, folks, is actually on this show with Bobby. It's actually quite odd. Like I never drink anymore, but I'm also in wedding prep too, so that coincides with not drinking a whole lot of alcohol. But Bobby, when you bring up steak and alcohol, like just I start sweating from the hands because like that's my cup of tea. I have a
Mhm.
feeling that might be gout. That's not plantar fascia.
Well, because it's coming from caddies too. So
They're like, yeah, Bobby, it's plantar fasciitis. It's like, no, it's
I'm
not.
not a big, I'm not a big drinker anymore, but I told you on Thanksgiving, like I'm like my favorite wine from back in the day, nobody laugh, is called Groth, Groth. And I had a couple 2015 bottles of Groth, and I started setting Lori up like 2 weeks ahead of time. Like, you know, a glass of wine. She's like, oh, I'm gonna have some wine, right? So she's overcooking the lamb chops. I pop the bottle into the fridge for like 15 minutes. That's key. I learned that from a rich dude once. And I pop a glass and I have a sip, and I'm like, oh my God, this is why I was an alcoholic for so long, because it tastes so good. And about 15 minutes later, I'm like, this is definitely why I was an alcoholic, because I had the most wonderful, warm, fuzzy feeling right now
It's
I've
true.
ever
I'm
had.
right there.
The lamb chops get overcooked. Sorry, Lori. And I asked her, so I've gone through like 2 glasses. I'm like, hey, you gonna? She's like, I ain't feeling it. And I'm like, oh no, boom boom, no boom boom tonight for Bob.
Oh,
No
wow.
boom boom. So I
That's
thought,
devastating, Bobby.
so I had 2 glasses of wine for Thanksgiving. They were wonderful. And I'll probably have a couple at Christmas too. And then I'm right back on the wagon, Matt.
Listen, I appreciate what you do, Bobby. So
Discipline.
I'm with you. Discipline is key.
Discipline. And I don't like
Really
headaches
is.
anymore. And I don't like headaches anymore. That's pretty much how it. That's pretty much. What were
But
we talking
Tiger, we were
about?
talking about
Oh yeah.
Tiger and the fact that he can't walk. And granted, the match, I think he'll be fine. PNC, now that we have confirmed with Bobby Brown, the expert here,
Yep.
that there are going to be carts there too, I think he'll be fine because he'll just step out of the cart. He might have to trumpet, though. And by trumpet, I might mean he might have to pull a trump to where he's driving on the greens to get to his putt.
I read where he said, he's like, oh, the PNC is going to be easy. I'm just going to fucking drive around in the car. Charlie's going to hit it straight, hit it on the green, make a putt, and I'll just walk up and pull the ball out of the hole. So he's got it. He's got
There
it
it
all.
is. I don't think he's even going to pull the ball out of the hole.
Yeah.
Now, Tiger
He
with
fired today, didn't he? He fired at somebody today,
he
didn't
did. I mean, the title of this episode is "The Tiger Attacks the Shark," and by
he?
shark I mean Greg Norman.
Good one.
It's a solid title. But the Tiger attacks the shark, and my God, did he go after Greg Norman? He basically said, if you guys want to have any open dialogue whatsoever, he's got to go. That that BSD, and by BSD, you know what I'm talking about because there's
Yeah.
enough pictures of Greg Norman in shorts without wearing any underwear, and that thing is fucking
Yeah.
flopping from knee to knee. So
Yeah.
it might be an intimidation factor with Jay on the PGA, but my God, here's the thing. What I've realized, and I've gotten into a lot of conversations with a lot of people that love golf and have watched golf for years and years and like think of themselves as knowing a lot about golf. However, a lot of people don't realize this hard on or resentment that Greg Norman has for the PGA Tour. They're like, oh, that's just a bunch of BS because he lost the Masters a couple times. It's like, no, like people don't realize this conflict between him and Arnold Palmer. Like he hated Arnold Palmer with a passion.
Yeah, because
And
Arnold ran the show.
exactly. And he did not like that whatsoever. Big ego guy. And that's why with this entire thing, I mean, first Rory came out and said it a couple weeks ago that, hey, Greg Norman, exit left or exit right, whatever that term is. Tiger now follows that up with, if we're going to have any dialogue whatsoever, Greg Norman's got to go.
Yeah.
Do you think at this point that the two of them are basically saying, Mark King, you're going to be just glorified in this whole entire thing if you take this because we're going to work out a deal with you?
Well, I can tell you, one thing. Everybody's tempered. The pot is simmered now, right? Nobody's boiling over, and I feel like I'm one of the ones too that you can almost see a little light at the end of the tunnel here in the next 2 or 3 years. And I just feel like when he's out, then somebody's going to, with a level head's going to be not be so childish, and they're going to be able to talk and figure out how we're going forward with world rankings, majors. Maybe, I don't know, do I say dual status, being able to play in certain events on the PGA Tour? But let me tell you something.
I don't think the dual status is going to happen, Bobby. I think what it's going to be is major championships will be opened up and official world golf rankings.
I agree with you. I agree with that. I can say one thing right now. when Rory talks, people listen. When Tiger talks, everybody shuts the fuck up
Mm-hmm.
and listens because he carries so much weight, and he can carry this whole thing on his back with his opinions and his ideas, and everybody's going to jump on board for
Do
obvious reasons.
you
Agree with
think I 100% agree with that? I mean, that is fact. I mean, what you just said is fact. It leads me to ask you the question: do you think that this eventually becomes where Tiger Woods is the commissioner of the PGA Tour?
I don't think he'd want to,
You don't think
honestly.
so?
I don't think so. It's too much work, isn't it? It's too much dollars and
Yeah, but
cents.
he's
Too much
about
business.
legacy, Bobby. What player has ever become the
When,
commissioner of the tour?
well, well, I mean, okay, that sounds fantastic. That
It's
sounds awesome.
legacy.
Yeah, but do you know how much socializing he would have to do and appearances and showing up at
He
these
wouldn't have to,
tournaments?
Bobby.
And why?
But
Because
that's
he's
the thing.
Tiger.
He's Tiger Woods. You know what I mean? It's like his image and his reputation just precedes him around the aura
Yeah,
of Tiger Woods. All he has to do is show up to a few tournaments on an
yeah,
annual basis. And that part of it's done. It's not like a Jay Monahan who needs to get known, needs to interact with people, needs to build those relationships.
right.
Tiger's Tiger. Like
Well,
nobody's going to say,
Well,
oh,
I will say this in my opinion. On the golf side of it, the golf half of it, yes, Tiger Woods. On the business side of it, I don't know if he's the best fit, to tell you the truth. But you have a lot of guys underneath you that are paid to do that, right? They're paid to
exactly. Well, you got to be able to build a team, and that's it. I mean,
yeah,
every great CEO, there's a great team behind them. And
yes.
that's just the bottom line because one man can't do it all.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's all
I
about trust and being able to be a great leader. And who
yeah,
knows if Tiger is that guy, by the way? We don't
yeah.
know that, right? So even if it seems like a great fit to where all the players would listen to him, what about the people that he would be bossing around and telling what to do and so forth? Is he going to be a great leader in that respect as well?
I would say yes. I would say
I
yes.
think people would just bow down to him. And that right there, I mean, you can be a great leader if people just respect your opinion and everything you say. And I don't think people could actually come back and come at him with anything.
Something interesting to think about in the future, that's for sure. I know he's all golf, and he said he's going to play in the major. He's going to try and gear up for the majors and maybe one or two other events, So we'll see. It'll be good
If
to
he
have him
can
back.
walk, Bobby, this is this
Listen,
whole thing. I
it's
don't know.
Superman. It's Superman we're talking about, right? If he could do this, if he could come back from that, he keeps coming back, and he's obviously knows he's admitted he's in the twilight, and this is last go around here the next year or two. So we'll see what choosy
We'll
fills
see.
after that.
I
He
mean,
runs the
Rory.
fucking show.
Well, then you look at Rory McIlroy, right? So Tiger's his idol. How about Rory's comments about the fact that he felt like he gave Tiger COVID right
At the
before the
event.
Open
I
Championship?
read something about that, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that what they were talking
So
about.
Rory was saying that everybody at the JP McManus charity event over in Ireland, or what? Yeah, it was in
Yeah,
Ireland before
That's
the
it.
Open Championship. Everybody, he's like, everybody there basically had COVID. Like everybody was coughing, sneezing, like had the nose runs, everything. He's like, and then sure enough, I find out that I have COVID
Right.
and I'm hanging out with Tiger. And he really felt like he was the one that gave Tiger COVID because apparently it didn't come out in the media up until this that Tiger had COVID during the Open Championship. But how
Yeah.
about that? Tiger's most important golf tournament ever. And because that meant a lot to Tiger. And you saw that like he faded fast. And when anybody's had COVID, like they even
Yeah.
have long COVID out there to where fatigue is a big factor. Like now it makes sense why Tiger faded so fast because he had COVID the entire time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's got to be a pretty shitty feeling to be Rory on that one. But
Yeah.
why would you come out publicly and say that?
I don't know. So late too, right?
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit late in the game. I mean, you're
Yeah.
kind of just stirring up some media attention.
You would say that the way you would say that the week after the tournament. You wouldn't say it now that it's the off season, but I don't know.
Exactly.
There's a reason for everything, right?
There is.
Yeah. Didn't they just announce that do you want to touch on that topic, or can I
Let's
go?
get it. Go,
Yeah.
Bobby, go.
So I know that you heard because I sent you the link, but we lost the Mayakoba tournament, right? On the PGA. Yes. Number seven. That's the cave hole.
So my
every,
background is the cave hole.
yep, that's the
And
cable.
go ahead,
And then
Bobby.
the
You
next
got
hole,
this.
number 8, behind you over there, way back in the corner where the iguanas live. Yes, that's where everybody makes all these hole-in-ones. I think there was 3 of them last year. Robert Stretch, Seamus Power, and I think maybe Harris English might have knocked one in the bucket there too. I'm not positive. Oh no, he was playing with Strep. I'm sorry, I got my stats wrong. But so that's going to be a live event next year. It's going to be the 3rd week of February, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's going to be their opening event. But you know how this all went down, right? Don't you? Do you know who
But
designed that golf course?
no, who?
Greg Norman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's the whole
Oh,
thing. Yeah, and I guess he's got a lot of power down there with the quesadillas. Let's just put it that way. A
that makes a
lot of
lot
power.
of sense, actually.
Yeah,
But
now it's all coming to you. And
now,
it's to be, go ahead.
why can't they both have a tournament down there?
You can't have one or the other. You
You
can't have
sure?
both, right? Excuse me, I said that wrong. You got to have one or the other. They're not that like that yet, you know?
But
I mean,
one's gonna happen in February, the other one's gonna happen in November.
yeah, that's just sign of the times right now. So he's got a lot of power down there, Norman. So he swooped that one, and it's gonna be missed on the tour. But can I tell you one thing about that? And I'm just gonna tell you from my own personal thing. Once you've been there 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, it's the driving range. It's a great golf course. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. It's a great experience to be down there. It's my favorite food in the whole world. You know that.
Oh, I love Mexican
It's
food.
beautiful. It's just beautiful there, but it's hot as balls in November. It's like miserable hot standing on that driving range. Um, and it's just, I don't know. I don't think
It's
it's gonna,
hot. It's that hot in
oh my
November.
God, it's disgustingly hot. And I've told you before, they're known for the world's biggest raindrops there, right? When that shit
Yeah.
comes out of nowhere, I mean, it is just, you just
I
lock
did
in.
get stuck down there once in the
Yeah,
rain
it's
walking to like a
brutal.
bus, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
soaked within like
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, but it's perfect for live. I mean, they have these 3 fantastic resorts on property there. Like, when would I ever say out of 4 resorts that the Fairmont is batting 4th, right? They're not even the best one. There's this one called Banyan Tree. The big boy one is Rosewood. There's an Ondas on the beach right there. And I mean, that's probably perfect for a
It's a
live event.
great spot though,
Hey, dude, they're
man.
not going to get any fucking crowds. I
Where do you
mean,
think the PGA Tour is going to go instead?
well, scratch that. They will get crowds. Abe Answer, Carlos Ortiz,
That's why I
Chicago.
think they did it.
Sergio. Yeah. They're gonna get what big crowds they are, because
A
it's
lot of Latinos.
even though it's Cancun, it's not really Cancun, right?
It's not. I mean,
It's not.
you're what, 45 minutes south of
Yeah.
Cancun. It's been a
Yes.
while since I've been
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah. You're at least 45. Yeah, at least 45 minutes going down that highway. So
Completely different
I
feel,
mean,
people.
yeah, completely different feel. I'm going to make an early call on gambling there for people, though. Dustin Johnson will struggle there. You wait. He's never seen that golf course. We all talk about how great he is, and he could be number 1 still if he wanted to still be number 1, right? But you got to keep in the back of his mind, he's also been playing golf courses for 13 to 15 years that he knows like the back of his hand, and he's been in every position before. And this thing, when you start staring at that, that's an open hole. That one's kind of wide for that golf course, and you got mangroves left and right. Where's he going to start that little fucking cut that he comes across sometimes and pulls left? I'm just saying that I would bet $1 against
You
him.
know who else is not going to play well here?
Who?
Cam Smith.
Why is that?
He gets loose with the driver.
Yeah, you're probably right. Holy shit, fat ass Pat Perez is a
He's
past
got a
champion there
shot.
in 2018. Fucking A, he could crack
He's
it up.
got a shot.
He
Bobby.
could.
Oh my God,
He
folks.
could, and
Breaking news.
he
Pat
could
Perez could have his moment on LIV Golf
he
in
could
Mayakoba.
back Asian relegation tour next year in 1 week. It's going to be the most pressure he's ever had in his life.
That'd be unbelievable. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
He would hop right back on Son of a Butch podcast with Claude Harding and just start shitting on everybody. I told you I was the best golfer in the world.
Tiger ain't cracking 80 ever again. Oops, you were wrong about that one too, Einstein. So anyways, they get Mayakoba. It's going to be the leadoff event, I think. It'll be interesting to see.
When's Adelaide? Because that's supposed to happen.
I don't know. Is that supposed to be the opener? I read this one was
I
gonna
thought
be
that was going to be the opener originally because
see
Greg
what
touted that after the season was over, and then
yeah,
Cam was talking a little bit about it too.
yeah. I
But
mean, things change all the time, right? Everything's moving so quick, and Greg said a lot of things to a lot of people
you
that weren't
gotta stay fluid out there, folks. It is a
365
very
days.
fast-moving wave that's coming through LIV Golf.
Yeah, yeah. What else you got? This is a short episode for us. You know what I'm
You
watching
know,
on
we
TV?
we don't have a whole lot. Oh my God, actually, Bobby, you
What?
want to know something that has just absolutely caught social media by storm?
What?
Do you know? Well, you're on Instagram, so I know you know who this is.
Okay.
The Liver King, the guy that only eats like raw meat
Wait,
and
I
liver and
somehow
like
came across
bone
this.
marrow. Bobby, today it broke. I was in there training, and one of the trainers came in and he's like, and actually, you know who else trains at the exact same time as me is the Biz from Spittin' Chicklets, the
Okay.
hockey guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's hilarious, but he's in there. Anyways, one trainer comes in and he ends up dropping. He's like, guys, j- it's over. He's like the Liver King. They they leaked it. He's on steroids.
Oh, really?
He's not. I'm like, I go, oh God, that is a shock. I just didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
This
Now
guy
I
is ripped to the nines, and you're just telling me that eating raw meat and bone marrow is going to make you that ripped? Fuck
oh,
no.
now I gotta Google him when we're done.
Oh my God, Bobby, you're gonna absolutely lose it. Social media is going wild today. I looked
So
it up before the show and I'm just like, oh, he was right. I'm like, the people are going nuts because he touted like that this diet was the reason he was so jacked and that like animalistic, like caveman, like diet and like working out and everything. And then you've got now you're starting to see like him working out with equipment at Ritz Carlton's and so forth. So like everything is just starting to come out. That's why you just gotta be real. You gotta be real. And he might have even made more money, Bobby, if he just came out and was like, listen, these are the steroids I use.
yeah.
He would have made a lot of money on the black market via those
Oh,
steroids.
that was random, Matt. That was so random.
You wanted to know what else, and that is a topic that
Wait,
I don't
I'll
think we can get away from.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna one up your random and throw out my random. That mean it has nothing to do with this show. Is it weird to think that Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Aaron Judge, and Paul George all spent time at Fresno State together?
Wow, those are some
You know
athletes.
that? Did
I
you
didn't
know
know
that?
that they were all at Fresno State. No.
I just read it. All those guys were at Fresno State at the same time at one point. At one point, I didn't know all those guys went to Fresno State.
Say them again.
Derek Carr, QB for the Raiders.
No, I know Derek Carr. Okay.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is a stud. All right.
Okay, this guy that you like a lot, Aaron
I
Judge.
mean, how can you not like Aaron Judge?
I know, but I didn't know he went to Fresno State. I didn't know he was a Bulldog.
Oh, he was. I knew that. I didn't know Derek Carr was, and I didn't know
And
Devontae Adams.
Paul
Who's
George.
wow? Got some
Nick,
studs that went to Fresno State.
Nick Watney
Wow.
went there, but he's a lot older than those
Did you
guys.
get paid by like a recruiter to drop this? Are they like recruiting a top prospect right now?
No. No, I just read that. I just thought that
That
was
is
so
random.
wild. Well, you came up with the Liver King shit, so I
I
had to try to
did.
one up you.
You did try to one up me there, and I don't know if you surpassed me, but it
I
was a
didn't.
great effort.
I
It
didn't.
was a
I
great
didn't.
effort. I mean,
No.
bringing up Aaron Judge right now.
Yeah. The
Let's
only thing
talk
I
some
could.
baseball real quick, Bobby, because do
Oh
you
boy.
think Aaron Judge is going to San Francisco or you think he's coming back to the Yankees? What do you
I think he
think?
comes back to the Yankees.
I feel the same. I think
As long as he doesn't go to the Dodgers.
I don't think he's going to go to the Dodgers because then the Dodgers have to move around Mookie Betts. They got to move him to second. I think there's a lot that would take place there that would create a dynamic that I don't think Aaron Judge really is all about. Aaron
Gotcha.
Judge doesn't want to displace people. Aaron Judge is a great guy. And
Yeah.
like his best friend is Anthony Rizzo. And
Uh-huh.
when Rizzo re-signed, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought Aaron Judge was going to sign before Rizzo and Rizzo was going to follow.
Mhm.
Rizzo loves being a Yankee. I don't know if Aaron Judge loves
Ah,
being a Yankee,
yeah.
but I think he knows how much money he's going to make. But you know what the Giants did that was really, really smart? They brought in Steph Curry. What do
Yeah.
you do when you're trying to just like persuade somebody? Is there not a multifaceted person like Steph Curry? I mean, he's the greatest shooter in NBA history, potentially.
Well,
People
let me
might
ask you
hate
a
on me for
question.
that. He's a great golfer. Great
Great
golfer.
call. Beat Sam, beat Sam Ryder straight up at a Corn Ferry Tour event, the first round in at Stonebray in Northern California. But I have a question
That's
for you.
slightly embarrassing.
Isn't that what's the name of the ballpark there in San Fran?
Candlestick.
No, it used to be
I know.
Candlestick. Isn't it Comerica now or something like that?
It might
Well, my
no
point is,
Comerica. I think Comerica's in Chicago. No,
okay, it's right on the bay. I know that. Isn't it hard to hit jacks there in San Fran at night? Isn't it known for not a lot of jacks? I
well,
know
it's
you get all
cold.
the
It's the
kayakkers
coldest
and stuff,
summer that
but
I've ever experienced.
yeah,
I was there in June and
yeah,
July one
yeah.
year, and it was like 54 degrees. I had to go buy a
Didn't,
sweatshirt.
didn't some famous author say that? He said the coldest summer
Come
I
on,
ever.
you got this.
Yeah.
Who's
Wait,
the author?
I want to say Robert Louis Stevenson, but I'm
No,
wrong. Yeah, because he designed
it's a
small.
more famous one than that.
Oh, no. I'm so out of it right now. I want to say Henry Wadsworth.
Oh my God, that's not even close.
No, he said the coldest summer. Wait, the coldest winter he ever spent was a
Uh-uh.
summer in San
Oh,
Francisco.
the coldest summer. There, you ready? I'm gonna make sure that I don't get this wrong either. But I know I
I
was
think it's the
correct in my
coldest
thought
winter he ever
process.
spent was a summer in San Fran.
Yeah, Mark Twain,
Mark Twain, that dude.
dude.
Henry Wadsworth. You know why I say Robert Louis Stevenson is because Robert Trent Jones Senior designed Spyglass, like one of my favorites. But the story at Spyglass was before the golf course was up, Robert Louis Stevenson used to wander around those sand dunes and everything at Spyglass. I don't know, this is weird that I'm saying this, but when I was caddying up there at Spy, I learned this. That's where he would get like his inspiration to write all his stuff, Robert Louis Stevenson.
I got a good question for you.
That's why that high school is called Robert Louis Stevenson High School right there on Spyglass. Go ahead.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a fun fact.
Bobby Clampett.
People, I don't even know if you can Google that and find that information that Bobby just dropped.
True.
So
Yeah,
thanks,
sure.
Bobby. I mean,
Okay,
you
buddy.
just educated our entire audience, including me.
Okay.
Now, have you ever been to Arkansas with the RTJ trails? The Robert Trent Jones trails down there in Arkansas.
Isn't that Alabama?
Is it not Arkansas? Am I going to embarrass my own self right now? Hang on. Now I got to look it up. Jesus, I thought you could get down to Walmart and like go to corporate. Hang on.
You did shoot 69.
RTJ trails.
Alabama.
This is why I'm not smart, people. Hang on. The RTJ trails. Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, Alabama.
I've never been to Alabama or
I did
Arkansas.
I did a web.com tour championship at one of them. And I remember the group in front of us was Eric Axley, who I ended up getting a W with at San Antonio. And his wife at the time, Courtney, Eric chipped in or something to lock up his card, and she jumped on him so hard her G-string, we could see her G-string from the middle of the fairway. And we're like, hey, do that again. Can I go now before I get into trouble? We got a lot to talk about next week, folks. We got the Australian Open and the rundown of the Hero Challenge, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more scoop for us to dust up a little bit.
Well, I mean, there's going to be all the hype, all the press around the match because the match is coming up too. When is the match? The match is December 10th. So yeah, that's going to actually be the next one. Are you not going to watch it? Do you not like the matches?
I don't know. I kind of liked it better when it was like Rogers and Brady and stuff. You
know what my favorite was?
What?
Shell's Wonderful World of Sports. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Those were fantastic.
Yeah.
Those were great productions. They were classy. You got Arnie out there smoking, going up against Jack Nicklaus. It's just never going to be like that. I actually, the last one that I really liked was when Tiger and Duval went at it. Remember that? And Duval was number 1 in the world. Mm-hmm. And then there was that big rock in the middle of the fucking fairway. Mm-hmm. And everything was going great for Duval until he hit it like literally up against that boulder or whatever the hell it was in the middle of that fairway. And
That's
then
Sherwood
his round
fucking
went
dude.
completely. Is
That's
that Sherwood?
Yeah, that's
I was
Sherwood,
young
bro.
watching
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, Dave, you should have hit 3-wood, dude. Everybody knows that boxing play.
But everything fell apart from that point forward. And of course, the announcers were just absolutely going on and on about how he should have hit 3-wood, that it was a perfect drive, other than he hit driver.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well,
all right.
And that'll end it, folks.
Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That
Bobby.
it? We ended like this?
Bobby, I ain't got nothing else. I'm pulling at fucking hairstrings here. I'm surprised we even got into an hour of this goddamn shit with the Liver King. I mean, yeah.
I thought we were gonna have the fucking week
well,
off.
And then all of a sudden, we do have the episode to where I interviewed. So not this week, but next week we may end up having a dual episode, folks. So if you're still listening right now, we may end up having a dual episode next week. It might be the week after when you come out to Arizona, by the way, Bobby, because if we're doing that episode early, we might do a Tuesday drop and a Thursday drop. Because Jay Chandrasekhar, the Super Trooper himself, from Super Troopers 1, 2, there's going to be a third. I had a great interview with him because, my God, was he did you know he's an avid golfer?
Yes, you told me that.
I did, but you can't find this on the internet.
The
I told
longer
him.
we carry this episode on, the more people are going to get turned off. We got to cut it.
Cut it right now, Bobby. Cut it right now.
See you next week, bro.
See you next week, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Make sure to hit subscribe and go to www.pullhookgolf.com for more